Hello, welcome back to another episode of Charla Football. I'm your host, as always, Gerardo. With me, Tomas. And we're going to talk about the October friendlies for Mexico. They're going to be facing Ecuador and Colombia. The first match against Colombia in Dallas, and the second match against Ecuador in Guadalajara. But before we get into it, make sure you guys subscribe, like, check out all the platform links down below. So first, let's start off with La Convocatoria, Tomas. Instant reaction to when you saw the roster. Obviously, there's a lot of key names. No Raul Jimenez, no Edson Alvarez, both of them out for injury. No Rodrigo Huescas too, and then there's a lot of surprise inclusions too. So what did you think when you saw the roster?
At first, when he put this roster out, I looked at it and I thought this was like a kindergarten roster. I mean, there's half of these players would not make the World Cup squad or should not make the World Cup squad. I mean, there's just players that should not be here. There's players that have been here this whole time that should not be here, that just need to retire from football in a whole.
Yeah, overall, and off the top of my mind, players that I was kind of skeptical seeing: Kevin Alvarez, Alexis Gutierrez, Chardi, Romo, and Berterame, maybe even Quiñones. Maybe even Chucky too, because in the last call, Chucky didn't do all that much versus South Korea and Japan.
That's what I mean. He calls up players like Berterame. I mean, I can't wait to see Berterame at right back under Vasco.
Bro,
can't wait till he plays him at left wing. He doesn't play these players in their positions.
Best, in their best position.
He plays Quiñones still on the left wing. What does he need these players for if they don't fit his system?
Yeah, if he's not going to put them in their best positions where they're going to flourish, then what's the point of calling him up? I completely understand. Yeah, overall, there's, I mean, it's kind of all what we got, right? I feel like he would have called up more of the under 20 players, and he's already said, Rafa Marquez has already said that they're looking at like 3-4 players. I'm pretty sure it's like Obed, Elias, Gilberto, and then maybe one other one. But I'm pretty sure if like those 4 that we kind of mentioned, they could be easily replaced by some under 20 players, or maybe another naturalizado, which we'll kind of get into that topic real quick in a bit. Starting with the goalkeepers, though, let's look at, I mean, he played it safe, Malagon, Rangel, and then Acevedo was the biggest surprise. But I'm not mad at it. I'm actually glad to see Acevedo.
I mean, I don't hate Acevedo. I mean, he just
plays on a poor team.
He just plays on a poor team. He has a terrible back line. I mean,
yeah, what he's supposed to do.
If you gave Acevedo Malagon's back line, he would be putting up the same numbers.
Yeah, I think Acevedo's a great goalkeeper. It's been a couple years since we've seen him play with the national team, so I think an opportunity against one of these teams would be great to see. Will he play? Probably not. Probably not. I think Malagon will probably play both matches because these are going to be difficult tests for both of these teams.
I don't know. I see a rotative squad. I don't see a set in stone squad here. I don't even think he took this window seriously. I think this is just a Mickey Mouse squad. To be fair, I mean, like I said, it's just all that you really can call up at the moment based on injuries and then based on the under 20 players being out for the under 20 World Cup. So it's just kind of there's only a handful of players in Liga MX that weren't called up that you can really be like, hey, they should have been there. You know how we were talking off camera. Kevin Alvarez maybe could have been substituted for like a Denzel Garcia or like a Castillo from Chivas or a Barbosa from Toluca, because Kevin Alvarez has only played the last 3 matches and he's coming back from injury. Hasn't been the best. You know, he was overall the one that was starting over him was Dagoberto, right? Yeah.
Dagoberto.
I mean, Kevin Alvarez was 1 game away from being ranked the worst right back in all of Liga MX this past month. And the only reason he wasn't is because he didn't play the first game, sorry.
Yeah, Kevin Alvarez going forward, and Pachuca, he was incredible. At America, before the injury, he was doing good, but then just after the injury and kind of when he was like in the media, it was just kind of, I feel like a little distracted. So maybe he can take this opportunity to, I feel like he has probably the most to prove out of all these players in the roster, because everybody else, I mean, they've been called up in the past before. Kevin Alvarez, it's been a while since he's been called up too.
I mean, I don't hate Kevin Alvarez. I know the talent he has. He just doesn't have the form right now. And I feel like if we're going to play teams like Ecuador and Colombia, Colombia by far more talented than Ecuador, but Ecuador just as intense as Colombia.
Yeah.
We need players who are either super, super talented and have the headspace to make fast decisions, especially at that right back position, or players that have the same intensity, and I don't see him having either.
Mm. As for Colombia and Ecuador, like you mentioned, they're bringing a very competitive squad. Except, I would say, more Colombia, they're bringing like 11, 12 European-based players, and most of them are playing in the best leagues and the best teams in the world. Looking at a guy like Luis Diaz, who's in good form. I mean, you've been watching Bayern Munich more than I have. You said they're fucking scary, and Luis Diaz is one of the reasons.
Luis
on the left,
Luis
on the
Diaz
left,
in
he's
that
crazy.
front three is insane.
Yeah, so I'm actually worried about him. Imagine like Luis Diaz versus Kelvin Alvarez. Like, bro,
He's shitting on him all day. He's
like
shitting on him all day.
Kevin Alvarez would be shitting himself too.
It's because Kevin Alvarez isn't a defensive based player. If I was looking at a confrontation between Luis Diaz
And Kevin Alvarez.
and Kevin Alvarez,
You're
I'd choose a more defensive right back.
And in this case, you have either Reyes or Jorge Sanchez. And I feel like in the game like this, you would probably go for like a Reyes, where
I'd
maybe
go
he's not
for
going to go
Reyes.
up often, but defensively, he's solid.
I'd go for Reyes because defensively, like you just said, he's solid, and I like Reyes defensively.
Yeah.
He's a very solid player. Going forward, he's questionable, but I don't need that. I need a right back that's able to compete with Luis Diaz, or at least delay the game where we're able to recover.
Yeah, especially like how you were saying, against a guy like Luis Diaz who can change the game in an instant. You know, he's incredible on the left wing, especially in good form right now with Bayern Munich. Going to the we didn't really go. All right, going into the rest of the Colombia squad. Obviously, James is up there. Daniel Munoz from Crystal Palace.
Alvaro Angulo from Pumas knows him.
Angulo, he just missed the penalty versus Chivas.
Perfect. I love that player, actually.
Great player. There's Mojica as well. He plays with Mallorca. Kevin Mier from Cruz Azul. Also Rios from Benfica. Who else?
Camilo Hernandez.
Jefferson Lerma from Crystal Palace.
Camilo Hernandez from Betis.
Oh, El Cucho. Yeah. Davinson Sanchez from Galatasaray. They have at least they can make a whole 11 from European-based players.
We saw Castaño at the Club World Cup for River, no?
Oh yeah,
That was
yeah.
a right back.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, he was fairly decent.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, they have a great squad. As for Ecuador, they do too. I think Ecuador qualified second in CONMEBOL, I want to say. Most of the games they tied like 0-0. Defensively, they're very strong. I think they have one of the better backlines in almost all of South America. Ecuador are incredible defensively. As we're going forward, they've been kind of questionable. They have the impeccable Ener Valencia, the timeless Ener Valencia, who, I mean, he's an incredible player. We already know how dangerous Ecuador is with Ener Valencia up top. They have, who else? They have William Pacho. He's a Champions League winner with PSG. They have Pervis Estupiñán, who made that transfer to Milan. And then, I mean, I'm sure there's a few other players that I'm missing. The ones that are missing from this roster overall is Moises Caicedo from Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then Hincapié, I think, as well from Arsenal. I think there's maybe one or two that I'm probably missing, but those are the two that easily could have slotted into that 11 and made the game a lot more difficult for Mexico. But now, like, kind of talking about, like, what can we expect from Mexico in these two matches? What do you think, first off with Colombia, how Mexico will do or how will it come out? And then we'll talk about Ecuador.
I honestly don't even know. I don't know.
No thoughts?
I don't know what to expect from these players. These aren't the players that, have been playing, 2 or 3 months ago. These aren't the players that, ended up on the Gold Cup. These aren't those players. I mean, the only players that have started was Malagon. I mean, even
Vega
Vega.
on left wing. And then Lira.
And Lira. I mean, it's because...
Marcel. And then the back line, too, overall.
Overall, the back line, I mean, it's not even... I mean, Cesar Montes is there, so I feel safe with that. Johan Vasquez is there, but that's all I recognize. I mean, the right and the left backs are there, obviously, because he likes using Gallardo.
And Jorge Sanchez.
But it's kind of... These are players that we're accustomed to seeing, and I feel like the exciting part was us going forward. And it's kind of just like those players that were helping us get forward. I mean, Raúl Jiménez isn't there. Gilberto Mora isn't there.
Yeah.
Which is really really wowed us, during the
Gold Cup specifically.
So I mean, it's just let's see what we can expect from really what it is, our bench players. I mean, the only player that really is kind of doing his part in Europe is Santi.
And he's just working hard. Let's say he's not scoring a lot of goals right now with Milan. They're being patient with him. He did come off of scoring against South Korea. He scored a banger against South Korea. So maybe he can keep that form with La Selección Mexicana at least. Especially because he's going to be given all the trust. He's going to be starting, whether he's the only striker or they're playing two up top. Against Colombia and Dallas, I could see a draw. I don't see Mexico winning because I feel like Colombia's going to go out with their best and Mexico's also going to be going out with their best. I could see maybe like a 1-1, a 2-2. But, I mean, I don't see us losing the game, but I don't see us winning.
I just don't see us scoring.
Really?
In general.
I feel like we can get at least a goal or two. I think maybe just one.
From
goal.
who?
From Santi.
And who's going to give it to him?
Charlie.
You had
Imagine
me
Charlie
for a second.
Rodriguez assist, bro.
Charlie
That'd be
Rodriguez,
crazy.
35-yard shot, go upper left on Kevin.
Nah, I mean, who can assist them from the midfield? Maybe like I don't even think it would come from a midfield. It'd be like Alexis Vega.
Actually, okay.
Alexis Vega on the left.
Marcel Ruiz.
Marcel Ruiz is very good. I mean,
Marcel Ruiz is very good.
he's been kind of iffy right now in the midfield with.
Will he risk using Marcel into a 10, bro?
I don't think so. I feel like it'd be
He's
Marcel
gonna
and
keep him at
Dida,
the 8.
and then at the 10 maybe he'll put like Pineda or like maybe even Alexis Vega. But I don't think he would put Marcel as a 10 because that's not his natural position. He's more of like an 8.
It's because Marcel actually knows how to go forward. He knows how to utilize. I know he's skinny, but he knows how to utilize his body going forward. He has, a fair amount of momentum, which is really built through him with how his form is in Toluca.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's really nothing that we're able to do. Huh? I mean, it's just because Eric Sanchez, ever since he's got into America, it's like all he does is eat. I swear. I mean, all I see him on TikTok is just eating at tacos.
Damn.
It's like he's depressed or something. I don't know. Is Eric Sanchez okay?
Somebody check up on
You know
Eric
what?
Sanchez.
Changes the name of this episode. What's wrong with Eric Sanchez? He used to be
Stupid.
so good. What
I mean, he
happened to him?
still is good. He's been a starter with.
Okay. Compare his form right now.
To
Compare
what he
form
was
when
at
he's left
Pachuca?
Pachuca. Which form would you
No,
prefer?
bro. Pachuca, Chiquito Sanchez was a different Chiquito Sanchez.
What
Scoring
happened?
against Germany and everything.
What
too.
happened?
I don't know, went to America.
He went
or
to
got
America,
comfortable.
Went to
Started
America,
making more
got
money.
fed.
Got fed. He wasn't getting fed in Pachuca. Or what?
They don't feed their players, bro. Look at Montiel.
Oh, that's true, huh?
Look
He's
at
actually
Chucky.
hella
Look at
skinny.
Chucky when he left.
That's true. That's true.
Chucky's still in a calorie deficit to this day, bro.
No, that's called. Nah, I mean, overall, I feel like a draw is fair. I feel like it would be fair against a team like Colombia. I would take that. I would happily take it because Colombia is a decent team.
Yeah.
Against Ecuador, though, I feel like that's where it's going to be like. It can either be a 0-0 draw or it's going to be like a 1-0, but who knows to who. Maybe I feel like because we're playing in Guadalajara, I think it would probably go to Mexico. And I feel like it should be. Maybe a Santi goal, maybe a Quiñones goal. Imagine in Guadalajara. That'd be crazy.
I just hope Santi steps up because that's really all we have left.
Yeah, I mean, he should step up. But this is his opportunity to step up with no Raul Jimenez, being the bright light, everyone like paying attention to him. Now it's his time to shine in this fucking moment. So against Ecuador, I feel like it's going to be different because we're going to be playing in Guadalajara in front of our people. So it's going to be a good... These are both good tests for La Selección, bro. These are both very good tests. So I'm honestly very excited because we're playing some of the better teams in CONCACAF. I mean, in CONMEBOL. One of the things I actually wanted to ask you before we start to finalize the episode is the thoughts about Alvaro Fidalgo. I know a lot of people are talking about Alvaro Fidalgo going to La Selección. That's going to be called up to a microciclo very soon, maybe even in November. I mean, I've said in the past, I didn't think it was a bad idea, but now seeing how well these under-20 players are performing, like Gilberto, like Elias, like Obed, you don't need Alvaro Fidalgo. There's really no necessity for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even a fan of having naturalized players. I feel like the day that we had naturalized players, we should have shut down FMF. I think it's just terrible. I think it's an insult to the Mexican people. Why would we have a player where, yes, he just does with his part and with his club. You put Fidalgo in Toluca, he wins a trophy as well. You put Fidalgo in Monterrey, he wins a trophy as well. Fidalgo is just a good player. But why would we take this focus? Put Fidalgo in Juarez? You think he'd get the same thing?
I don't know.
Put Fidalgo with a bad team. He's not making a difference. And that's what Mexico is right now. We're not the best team, right? So I would prefer to have my young players play than Fidalgo, especially when right now, I mean, everybody's talking about them. U20 players. I'm all for having naturalized players that are much, much better than our players.
That are actually going to make a difference.
Yes, that you could say, well, this motherfucker's like Messi. Or we're never going to be able to create a player like this in a short amount of time.
Yeah, because you guys have to remember that the only reason that this is a conversation is only because he's not gonna get called up to la selección española
exactly.
at all, you know. And he's already expressed that he wants to play with la selección española. But I mean, there's a World Cup coming up soon. Who would want to play a World Cup?
Why is Mexico on the street begging for the European players that are trying to head onto a different bus?
Bro, he wasn't even good enough to make it to the first team. He played one game in Copa del Rey for Real Madrid off of the bench, and that was it. He was the captain in Castilla, but he was like already in his 20s.
I just don't see how. I wouldn't want him because I can't develop him. Plus, he's not my product.
Mm-hmm.
He's not something that came through,
The youth ranks, started to kind of understand la selección.
He can be, okay, let's say he feels Mexican. But he can never understand what it was to play for Mexico in the U's. In the U20s, U19s, U16s, U17s.
Now, would you agree?
Which is what my players, that's what I'm going to. Now, which is what my U20 players are doing. They're representing their country at the lower level. Players who play professional minutes. And I'm talking about if you take those players, they have thousands of minutes together.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I disrespect them by not even giving them a chance?
Yeah, because essentially that's what it is.
There's four midfielders that the whole world is looking at today in the U20s. And you're telling me you want to give a guy that's, 26, 27 years old?
28, actually.
28 years old? An opportunity before you give your own people an opportunity?
Yeah.
It's a spit in the face and it's disgusting.
Yeah, I would prefer to see an Obed, an Elias,
even
Camberos,
Mora,
a Camberos, a Iker Fimbres.
Fimbres.
Being a surprise inclusion in the roster before the World Cup, then Álvaro Fidalgo, who, keep in mind, by the time he's able to be called up, it would be March. It would only be like a couple months before the World Cup, and he would only have 2 games to really prepare. And those would be the games against France and against Portugal.
I just think
it just doesn't make any sense.
It just doesn't make any sense. Look, Fidalgo is not a world above any other midfielder in Liga MX right now.
Yeah. And if you really think about it, players like Mora, Vargas, Montiel have a higher ceiling than Fidalgo.
Exactly.
Because Fidalgo at 28 is playing in America when he was at Real Madrid. But these players are being linked to Real Madrid and they're like 10 years younger than him.
Exactly. Not only that, I mean, Cambero's getting linked to Sevilla. Obviously, Matias Almeida has a high interest in Chivas. Maybe it could be like that. He has a preference for Mexican players from Chivas. But Camberos, what does he do in Chivas?
Nothing right now.
He's not getting that much minutes. He got, Amaury said that it was for the U20 World Cup. He kind of is proving it. Hugo Camberos is the new star of the U20s alongside Mora, alongside Montiel. Now, you take these players, you allow them to leave at a young age. Not only that, let's say right now, you take these players, I'd rather have these players stay on that bench and watch how the World Cup is. So they could get that fucking feeling of what it is to represent Mexico at home in the World Cup.
Yeah, because these are the same players, the same base is going to be with Rafa Marquez, who's already there with them. Might as well just give them opportunity to be already around other players that also, who are not that old. They're going to be, like some of these players like Marcel, like Lira, like Quiñones, like Santi, they're going to be at the 2030 World Cup. Like, let them start to develop that chemistry, build that squad together.
I mean, also players like Montiel. Montiel should also be on that bench.
Mm-hmm. Even if they're not immediate starters, because it's hard to take off a guy like Edson, like Lira, like Marcel. It's hard to take off these players.
I'd say, they're probably not going to replace those players, but I just want them on that bench. And if we're talking about bench role, because that's what it is for Fidalgo, a bench role in the world of football, in the world of the best footballing nations, the bench is for the younger players that are coming up. Mm-hmm. And 2 to 3 experienced players that might have to sub in. That's it. Tell me, why are we the only nation that carries players with no ceiling on the bench? We're the only nation that does that, that is aspiring. We're the only footballing nation that's aspiring for a World Cup that has these old-ass players that play in Liga MX and don't perform on the bench. I just don't understand it. And we look at Argentina, all their players are either performing or have performed at a high level before. Mm-hmm. All of them. So why do we take the players, hence, we have Liga MX, not the best league in the world, it's a competitive league, but why do we take the players with poor form? We have other Mexicans with higher forms, with higher ceilings, yet we take the one with poor form and no ceiling.
Yeah, I agree. Like, everybody give him a round of applause. He went off right there. Nah, but I completely understand. This is obviously a topic that, is going around social media right now. Everyone's talking about it. Anything else that we should cover before we end? No, I think this is a perfect way to end. This is a perfect way to end.
That's a clip, bro.
That's a clip right there. Hopefully, Mexico does well against both of these nations. We got 2 draws in the last window. I think we deserve a win. Us as fans and as media members as well, we want to see Mexico do well. And we need to see them get at least a win versus one of these elecciones. Because imagine just tying the rest of the matches versus the top oppositions. Come on, bro. Nah, we need a win against one of these guys. Maybe even both of them. Fuck it, give me a win against both. Let me know what you guys think down below. Is Mexico going to beat Colombia, Ecuador? What do you see? A draw, tie, a draw, or a loss? What do you guys see? Let me know what you guys think down below. Who are going to be the goal scorers? We're actually going to be at the Colombia game in Dallas. So make sure if you guys see us, stop by. We're going to do some interviews, man on the street questions, and then also make sure... come and take a picture with us. Be our
second picture.
Be the second person to take a picture with us ever. So thank you to all 5 of you guys who are watching this. The last video did good. We got like 300 or something views.
Oh, for?
Some guy was like, "Saludos desde Ciudad de México," and some other guy was like, "Saludos desde San Diego." Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe, like, check out all the platform links down below. We'll see you guys on the next one after both of these matches. Definitely come by after the game against Colombia for the recap, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.